Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, concerned family members of a victim of an altercation that has resulted in the hospitalization of the assaulted victim spoke out to News 2 about the incident that occurred at Chris's Hideaway on the island of St. Croix in October of 2016. 3 months later, the family of the victim seeks information and due process for the incident.
3 months after her brother was the victim of an altercation at Chris's Hideaway nightclub back in October 9th of 2016, Andrea Richards shares with TV2 her concerns about the assault.
2 plainclothes officers were there. No one reported the crime. People that were partying there, no one reported the crime. When he was transported to Wang Louis Hospital, we was told that he was in a 1-car accident. No one said anything about an assault. We found out from people that happened to be in the club that knew us that he was assaulted before, and that's how we knew, and we reported the crime ourselves to the VIPD. My brother is in serious condition. He had major head trauma, and because of that, he was airlifted to a hospital in Florida. Broken ribs, punctured lungs, major head trauma is all the injuries that he sustained. It's been 3 months. He is still unresponsive, still unconscious. We want justice. We want to know what happened. We want to know why police officers were on the scene and no one reported the crime.
Be sure to count on 2 as we continue this story and reach out to the VIPD, and we will share information on a GoFundMe account on tomorrow's newscast. Now, the family seeks the support of the Virgin Islands community to urge the VIPD to address the issue and provide justice to the victim. Again, count on 2. We will keep you updated. Police say on Wednesday, February 8th, the 911 call center received a call from the members of the National Park Service reporting that they found a woman who was reported missing on the shore of Trunk Bay. She was dehydrated and dizzy. 54-year-old Natalie Domchenko was taken to the hospital for treatment. Police say she was reported missing by her family. In other news, the board of directors of the St. Thomas St. John Chamber of Commerce, they expressed their outrage over this graffiti written across a backstreet wall expressing hateful sentiments directed towards the community's East Indian population. These words have no place in the Virgin Islands, stated Chamber of Commerce Board President Sebastiano Paiwanski-Castanelli. The territory has always welcomed people from around the world and was built on the hard work of individuals from Africa, Asia, Europe, South and Central America, among others. He said, "We will not tolerate hateful, intolerant, or racist speech from any source." Paiwanski-Castanelli went on to say, "I call upon the police and justice departments to identify the responsible individual or individuals and prosecute them to the fullest extent allowed under law." He said this is a hate crime and is such a federal offense. Federal Bureau of Investigation defines a hate crime as a criminal offense against a person or property motivated in whole or in part by an offender's bias against a race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, or gender identity. Members of the St. Thomas St. John Chamber of Commerce, they represent a variety of business operations and work together in harmony to promote commercial interests in the territory. He said the members of the chamber stand together in condemnation of this act of prejudice. The Indian community also is one part of our wider community, end quote. Be sure to count on 2. We will keep you updated as we contact the VIPD and find out what the status is. On Wednesday, February 8th, at approximately 10:50 p.m., the 911 emergency call center reported a gunshot victim at the Schneider ER. The victim stated that as he drove his vehicle in the area of Savannah, he stopped to throw away his trash in a garbage bin, and while throwing away his trash, he heard a gunshot, causing him to run back into his vehicle. Immediately after, he felt some pain and realized that he was shot. The victim said he did not see anyone in the area, and he drove himself to the hospital. The victim sustained a single gunshot wound to his left thigh. Please call police if you can assist. Meanwhile, police are reporting a shooting on St. Croix. Here's more from the VIPD.
On February 8th at about 10:22 p.m., the 911 call center reported there was a gunshot victim at the Walter I. M. Hodge housing community in Frederickstead. Upon officers' arrival, they observed a 20-year-old black male who was shot with a gunshot wound in the left leg. The victim stated that he was walking up the stairs to his apartment when he was shot at. He was transported to the Wang F. Louis Hospital via ambulance. Officers canvassed the area with negative results.
The Virgin Islands Police Department continues to actively investigate the rapes that occurred in the vicinity of Eastern St. Thomas. Police are following up on numerous leads and have increased both visibility and patrols in the Red Hook, Friedenhoy, and Nazareth area, they say, in an effort to capture the individual or individuals responsible for committing these senseless acts of violence against women. Officers are also circulating an FBI sketch right there of the suspect, but urge residents not to dismiss suspicious behavior from someone that does not match the description released by VIPD. VIPD Commissioner Delroy Richards said people wanted for questioning by law enforcement often make an effort to change their appearance. The bottom line is that these attacks happened in a relatively small area, and he said, "I'm quite certain that someone has a very good idea of who may be responsible. I urge those with information to come forward immediately. At this time, investigators have no evidence linking the Cruise Bay rape reported late Friday to the 3 assaults in St. Thomas. The suspect that is believed to be responsible for the rapes on St. Thomas is described as a black male, approximately 5 feet 5 inches, between 18 to 25 years of age, 150 pounds, Caribbean accent, slim build, no beard, flat nose, closely shaven head, slight mustache, seen wearing a black t-shirt, white basketball pants, and black and white Adidas flip-flops. If you have any information regarding these incidents, please contact police." District Court Judge Curtis Gomez sentenced Eugene Monsanto Jr. 41 to 17 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release for being a felon in possession of a firearm. Judge Gomez also ordered Monsanto to pay a $100 special assessment and complete 300 hours of community service. On October 5, 2016, Monsanto pleaded guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm, according to the plea agreement. On Monday, May 30, 2016, Monsanto, who was aboard MV Sundance Queen, a ferry traveling from the BVI to St. Thomas, presented himself for inspection at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection's St. John, Virgin Islands Port of Entry. A CBP officer conducted a routine inspection and found a fully loaded .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver inside of Monsanto's carry-on. Well, the Honorable Sonia Sotomayor, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, as we report, is in the VI after accepting an invitation to visit the territory in celebration of the Transfer Day Centennial. Now, she appeared at the University of the Virgin Islands student convocation featuring Sotomayor in the Sports and Fitness Center on St. Thomas campus. Judge Sotomayor also received an honorary degree at the convocation. The event was live streamed to a closed circuit feed in the Great Hall on the Albert Sheen campus on St. Croix as well.
It is a special honor on behalf of the entire University of the Virgin Islands community to welcome you to this event and to have the privilege of introducing at this student convocation one of our most distinguished guests in the history of this university, Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Opportunities to interact with people and learn about them, the issues that they are concerned about, and the human qualities that we share together. Are amazing islands. I don't know that I really noticed when I was last here how diverse the population of the islands is. And what is so wonderful and different from where I come from is that people of different backgrounds, races, colors, and ethnicities are actually friends with one another.
Judge Sotomayor said she is honored to be a part of the Virgin Islands Historic Centennial Celebration. She took questions from the audience after she spoke Wednesday night at the Cardiac Center of Louis Hospital on St. Croix. The judge is speaking tonight at the Marriott's. President Trump met Thursday morning with chief executives from several major airlines. The heads of American, Delta, and United were among the leaders at the gathering, along with the heads of air cargo companies. They wanted to discuss airport infrastructure and updating the nation's air traffic system. Mr. Trump praised them for their work and thanked them for their efforts, but said he's heard the airline systems are out of whack, and he believes the Federal Aviation Administration should be headed by a pilot. Many of the CEOs were unhappy with the rollout of the president's travel ban. It's not clear if they raised the issue during the meeting. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P up, the Dow is 118, NASDAQ 32, S&P 500 13. Coming up on News 2, our Caribbean report of violent protests break out in Dominica, some graphic video you're about to see. Plus, time for a Black History recognition. Who was the prominent Black nationalist leader who served as a spokesman for the Nation of Islam during the 1950s and 60s? That's coming up next. Welcome back. Scenes of shattered store windows, scattered rocks, and piles of debris in Dominica's capital, Roseau. This morning were grim reminders of a night of violent protests. Trouble had erupted hours after a public meeting and protest organized by the island's opposition parties, at which demonstrators demanded the resignation of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Some of the video you're about to see is graphic. Swift condemnation of the United Workers' Party for vandalism and looting, which took place after the Kennedy Avenue meeting ended on Tuesday. The public meeting was supposed to have been held between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., but it went beyond that. Organizers say Tuesday's UWP meeting calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Skerrit ended with no incident. But Senior Counsel Anthony Astafan describes the events as a dark day and says the UWP leadership must take full responsibility for criminal activity which took place in the city Tuesday night.
Linton must also take responsibility for going on the radio and accusing the police of being responsible when he knows full well that that was not true and that he had a legal obligation as the political leader of the United Workers' Party to call for the violence to end.
The leader of the United Workers' Party says his team does not support the events which took place following the public meeting.
The United Workers' Party condemns the acts of violence and vandalism that erupted in the streets of Roseau during the evening of February 7th, 2017.
And to help put this all in context, here is Idona John Baptist with a look at some of what transpired on Tuesday.
Gunshot at person there.
Scenes of a protest turned violent on Tuesday night as a clash between rioters and police ensued following a public opposition meeting on Kennedy Avenue. Riot police were forced to step in using tear gas to disperse the protesters.
Turn our attention back at home. Yesterday, as we reported, Governor Kenneth Mapp signed a proclamation calling for a special election to fill the vacancy in the 32nd Legislature of the Virgin Islands. The District Court of the Virgin Islands acknowledged that the revised Organic Act and Virgin Islands law contemplated a remedy for vacancies in the legislature and acknowledged that Governor Mapp is within his authority to call a special election to fill that vacancy. Responding to the executive and judicial statements, President Myron Jackson of the 32nd Legislature stated that the majority caucus met to review the district court's judgment, Governor Kenneth Mapp's announcement of a special senatorial election, as well as response to numerous calls to senators from residents, pro and con. Jackson states that I've been in communication with Senator-elect Kevin Rodriguez and met with his family and supporters. Senator Jackson said this is the consensus of the majority caucus that the special election should proceed. Count to keep you updated. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter, who also serves as Commissioner of Insurance, departed the territory today to attend the National Association of Insurance Commissioners conference in Scottsdale, Arizona. The conference will host insurance regulators from the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the 5 U.S. territories. Through the NAIC, state insurance regulators establish standards and best practices, conduct peer review, and coordinate their regulatory oversight. In accordance with the revised Organic Act, Senate President Myron Jackson will serve as acting Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Potter will return to the territory on February 14th. Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority has scheduled a computer system maintenance upgrade, which they say will require shutting down the authority's payment portal on Friday, February 10th from 7 a.m. through 7 p.m. Customers are reminded that other payment options are available to include payment in the authority's customer service offices and at most local banks, placing a check or money order in the drop boxes at WAPA Business Office or by mail using the envelope included with the billing statement. All other online network functions will be operational during the scheduled maintenance. There will be no electric or water service interruptions as a result of this system maintenance. The Virgin Islands Energy Office, they're seeking vendors to participate in its energy efficiency and renewable energy financial assistance program. That's the rebate program for local businesses interested in participating in the program. A vendors meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 14th on St. Croix and Wednesday, February 15th in the St. Thomas St. John district. Locations, VI Energy Office, Mars Hill, Frederickstead, and Tutu Park Mall from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can call 340-713-8436 or 714-8436 to confirm your attendance. Here's the answer to our Black History quiz. African-American leader and prominent figure in the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, articulated concepts of race pride and black nationalism in the 1950s and 60s. Born on May 19, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska, Malcolm X was a prominent black nationalist leader who served as a spokesman for the Nation of Islam during the 1950s and 60s. Due largely to his efforts, the Nation of Islam grew from a mere 400 members. At the time, he was released from prison in 1952 to 40,000 members by 1960. Articulate, passionate, and naturally gifted, an inspirational orator, Malcolm X exhorted blacks to cast off the shackles of racism by any means necessary, including violence. The fiery civil rights leader broke with the group shortly before his assassination on February 21, 1965, at the Audubon Ballroom in Manhattan, where he had been preparing to deliver a speech. Well, Agri Fest 2017 begins Saturday, February 18th at St. Croix Agricultural Fairgrounds. It's the largest celebration of food and agriculture in the Caribbean and brings visitors from throughout the world. For the 5th consecutive year, the St. Croix native Sean Baptiste has organized a Food for Your Soul concert Saturday night, February 18th. The show begins promptly at 9 p.m. at the former Carib Home Center across from Sunny Isle. The idea for the concert is to give ag fair goers nightlife entertainment that will help boost St. Croix's economy, according to Baptiste. Performing artists include Barris Hammond, Edonia, Kuliban, Fire Train, and more.
All over the world, everybody is so excited, and I'm so excited because at the end of the day, I want to know people came and enjoyed themselves and they're happy and they could talk about it. They could go back to the States and tell their friend, yo, I went to St. Croix for Ag Fair and it was awesome, you know. Just kind of give that good taste and that good vibes to take back out of the Virgin Islands.
Sounds like a fun event. The Virgin Islands Lottery is celebrating influential Virgin Islanders with a ticket that was drawn earlier today for a $175,000 grand prize. This ticket celebrates some of the many influential Virgin Islanders that have been instrumental in advancing the people of the VI. Here are the winning numbers.
The VI Lottery presents draw results of today's drawing on NEWS2. Here are the top prizes. Fifth prize for $20,000, 15362, 15362. Fourth prize for $30,000, 29540, 29540. Third prize for $40,000, 12549, 12549. Second prize for $65,000, 31723, 31723. And the winning ticket number for the grand prize of $175,000 is 20289, 20289. If your ticket number wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. The next drawing is February 23rd. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
Good luck as you check those tickets. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Taking a look at our satellite and radar, lots going on off towards our north. Now, take a look. We have this area of low pressure storm really battering the northeast of the U.S., but attached to the storm system is going to be developing a cold front that's really going to start to move south throughout the Caribbean, bringing some showers and maybe even the potential of a rumble of thunder here or there. So as far as we're concerned right now, that's not quite an issue, though it will be increasing some of our chances of showers later on. Current satellite radar not showing too much going on. We're really under that standard trade wind flow as we move into tonight. Partly cloudy conditions going to stick around throughout this evening, but chances of showers are fairly slim. 73 degrees for our high. As far as tomorrow, partly sunny conditions is going to be a good way to wrap up this week. 84 degrees for our high out towards St. John. We have a light breeze in there as well. 84 degrees for St. Thomas. Dropping into St. Croix, a little bit warmer, partly sunny. Once again, with these easterlies, we can't extremely rule out the chance of a brief passing shower. As far as our boating conditions go, small craft use caution in throughout the rest of your Thursday night, but come Friday, we're going to drop that as our easterlies drop just a touch, 10 to 15 knots, waves around 3 to 5 feet, so a little bit choppy, but not too bad out there. This is pretty much the same story as we go onto the Caribbean side of things. We have that small craft using caution in through this evening, overnight, and then by morning, we're looking to drop that, waves 3 to 5 feet, winds out the east 10 to 15 knots. A look at your extended forecast. Well, we will see that cold front start to move in, especially in towards our weekend. So Saturday into our Sunday, more of an uptick of moisture, definitely cloudier weather, and into early week we'll also be sticking with a couple of showers. Back to you.
Thanks for that. Let's take a look at our News 2 weather picture there by DeMario Obeas of Ricardo Richards, sharing a historic picture there downtown Christiansted. It looks like, DeMario, we see that you included some sprinkles and cool conditions. Thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address on the screen and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Have a wonderful evening.